Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out two different products from the company Earfun. Now Earfun is celebrating 5 years of being around already, and that seems like time has kind of flown by because I remember going to CES like right when the company started. They had just released like their first product or two, and I was already interested and intrigued by what the company was doing based off those products. So where they've come today and the products that we're going to talk about today are completely different than what we've talked about in the past. The two products we're going to talk about is the EH100, which is their new IEM. Now this IEM is using a triple driver system where it is using two dynamic drivers mixed with one balanced armature driver. It normally is going to retail for $99, but right now it comes in at $69, where the other product we're going to talk about is the UA100. Now this is their new portable DAC. It has dual chips and it has 32-bit playback. Now this one's going to normally retail for $79, but right now you can get it for $55. But the deal that they have going through their anniversary sale is you buy them together, you can actually save like 35% total. So you can get the IEMs and the DAC for $116. And I think that is like a crazy value, which Earfun is pretty much kind of known for their value. I always feel like you're getting a lot for your money, and this one is definitely no different. But it is interesting that they have an IEM, especially considering up to this point, everything that we've tested have been true wireless earbuds. So that's where they've started, and I do like that they're going in the direction of hi-fi products or high-res audio certified products. So again, very intrigued on checking these out. Now the EH100s are high-res, like I said. They are very small, but they do have a good amount of weight. You can tell they're made from a premium material. They're using dual coaxial dynamic drivers and a custom balanced armature driver that they've made specifically for these. Now, as far as what it comes inside the box, you are getting a zippered hard case. You're getting 5 sets of silicone ear tips. It comes with one of the double flange ear tips, but the other ones are just, solid ear tips. It comes with a silver plated cable that's using a gold 3.5mm connection to be able to plug into different devices. Now this is a 2-pin connection cable, which is very common, so you probably have some of these already lying around if you're used to using IEMs. And then another thing that they've included is 2 different nozzles. Now this is the way that you can kind of EQ these manually. The one that comes on them out of the box is the balance nozzle, but the other option that you have, which is the one with the red ring, is the ambient option. Now this one's made to bring out the bass a little bit more, which we'll talk about that once we get to the sound. But let's move over to talking about the DAC, the UA100, which is a very small but pretty powerful headphone amp. It uses a USB-C input, so it comes with a USB-C to USB-C cable, but it also comes with a USB-A adapter if you're using a laptop that maybe you don't have a USB-C connection. And then as far as the output, you have a normal 3.5mm headphone cable, which is what you would use the EH100 IEMs for, but it also has a 4.4mm balance output as well. So that's nice that you have 2 of those options right there on the amp. And the only button on here is a mode button. Now this basically acts as your play and pause while it's plugged in to whatever device you're on. So it's nice that you have that button right there. So if I'm listening on my laptop and I need to play or pause my music, I just can simply hit that button, so I don't actually have to open up whatever software that I'm using to play my music. So it definitely makes it convenient to have that. I feel like the UA100 mixed with the EH100 is a pretty nice hi-fi setup where you're getting high-res certified on both products without actually having to break the bank. Again, I think getting both of these at $116, like I just don't kind of find that value out there in the world, especially in IEM where you're getting those 2 coaxial dynamic drivers. You're getting a custom balanced armature driver, and then that amp mixed with these is definitely going to boost these quite a bit. But let's go ahead and talk about the sound of the EH100s. Now, I initially want to talk about these, without using the amp that we've talked about. And out of the box, even with the balance cable, these definitely have a good amount of punch, but it is much tighter with the balance nozzles. Now, once you switch over to the ambient model, it does loosen it up a little bit, but I don't feel like it's giving you that much more bass. I feel like it's opening up the sub bass a little bit more, so it kind of is trying to resemble like a subwoofer where it's not trying to tighten it up as much. So your 2 choices as far as the nozzles go, I feel like the mids and the trebles stay the same on both, and I just feel like the ambient nozzle is letting the bass be a little bit more loose, where the balance one is tightening it up And I personally actually preferred the balanced one. Now, that's kind of interesting considering I'm a bass head, but I do like a lot of genres where a lot of things are going on, and I feel like the balanced nozzle kept up with that a little bit better. So when it comes to the mids and the treble, I think the mids sound fantastic on this pair. You know, male and female vocalists sounded right up front. Everything sounded clean and detailed. The treble on these can get quite bright. It never, to me, felt too harsh. I didn't feel like there was the sibilant sound with S's. I did notice, like, the louder that I listened to these, the closer that it got to being harsh. But it never felt like the treble just took over. And I just felt like it was pretty well balanced with that nice punchy bass. It just has a really tight feel to it. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, this is not a very open sounding pair of IEMs. It definitely makes you feel like you're in a more intimate listening environment. It doesn't feel, you know, like you're in a closed small room, but it feels like I'm in a medium to large size room. I don't feel like there is as much space as some of the, you know, more expensive IEMs that I've tested, but it definitely does a really good job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So adding the UA100, which is the amp that we've talked about, basically what it's doing is boosting everything. I already feel like the IEMs got plenty of volume on their own. I mean, the impedance level is only 16 ohms, so it's pretty easy to just drive these the way that they are out of the box. But the amp is giving you that much more volume, and it's also giving you a little bit more punch in the low end, and it's brightening up the treble a little bit more. Now, this is where I feel like the treble is definitely teetering on that line of being harsh. And again, I like this sound. I like a very punchy bass mixed with a very bright treble. I just feel like it's just an overall pretty dynamic sound. And mids felt like they took another notch or two forward. So the amp is definitely doing what it's supposed to do. There's no built-in EQ settings or anything to switch between. So it's basically just elevating everything that you have already on the EH100s or whatever you're going to use to plug into these. So overall, I think that both products are great on their own. If you're just looking for a portable DAC or a portable amp, the UA100 is a really nice choice, especially being able to get it for like $55. And if you're just looking for a pair of IEMs and you don't want to go over that $100 mark, the EH100 is definitely an excellent choice. I think it covers all genres where it sounds fantastic. I don't feel like it lacks anywhere. And there's a lot of detail and a lot of punch in them, which I really expected because that's kind of what I've gotten with Earfun True Wireless earbuds. And they just kind of like rolled it into these IEMs and elevated it more. They make it sound cleaner. They make it sound brighter, more detailed. You can tell they're trying to go for that hi-fi or high-res sound, and I like the direction that they're going. So yeah, I think this is an excellent value getting both of these at that $116. I don't really know too many options out there that can compete with these in that price range. So both of these Earfun products are easy recommendations by themselves, and I highly recommend just getting them as a bundle. You can tell that they were made to be used together. It's extremely portable. In fact, you can even throw the UA100 into the case of the EH100, and it's just an on-the-go hi-fi setup that's only going to be about $116. But guys, that's my video on the Earfun EH100 and the Earfun UA100. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.